Hello, welcome, and thank you for watching this month's Tarot Talk. I'm intuitive reader Bryan Stafford from Stafford Tarot and from Soul Intention, and today's Tarot Talk topic is going to be on a New Year's resolution spread. I thought it would be a good time to just share this idea with you all given the new year and some of the troubling times that people have been describing to me from the previous year. Such a hard year to get through, a 9-year, and getting into this 1 year if you're into numerology, all about finding our way, so to speak. And so I thought a New Year's resolution might be a good place to start the new year. So happy 2016, glad to be back. Stafford Tarot is functioning again within the new year. All that information is available at staffordtarot.com, and as well you can always come see me at my metaphysical supply shop, Soul Intention, in Guelph, Ontario at 497 Woolwich Street, or you can get more information about that at soulintention1111.ca. I thought to give some time for some viewers to join me on this broadcast, I thought I would just talk a little bit about what's new at Soul Intention and Stafford Tarot, and then by discussing some of the upcoming events to look forward to, and then I'll get into that Tarot Talk topic. Now, when we're done talking about that, I will be offering free short readings, up to 6 free short readings to anyone who shows interest in the live during the broadcast. So you simply just write in the chat that you'd like a reading, and I write you on the list. I go in the order of the list. Each reading takes about 15 minutes to get through, so I will keep you informed of where I am in that list, as well as if you're watching this from my website and you're just interested to watch the free readings as samples, feel free to just skip ahead about 20-30 minutes, as I will be offering those free readings later in the broadcast. So first, what's new? Well, Soul Intention is open again for the new year. We did take a week off for our holidays, very nice time off, and we are back. Store hours are regular hours again, so Monday to Friday from 11 till 6, and Saturdays from 10 till 5, and we're closed on Sundays currently. We have a 25% off sale happening in the store. If you're interested, come check it out. Some of the weekly services that we have regular ongoing at the store. All week you can get charms, runes, tea leaf readings, and tarot readings from myself or my business partner Cindy, any day of the week that we're available. On every Tuesday we have Janice Moffat, a psychic medium, in to give her mediumship sessions. On Wednesdays we have Marcella Riveros offering her Reiki sessions. On Thursdays, we have Christine Weil offering astrology readings. And on Saturday, we have Maxim Peschinin coming in 10 o'clock a.m. for palm reading sessions. So really exciting, a lot happening. And there's also a list of service providers available on the website that you can select, and we can coordinate times when you can come meet them at the store as well, if you're interested in any other kind of modalities that might be available. Some of the upcoming workshops that are happening at the store. First of all, we have the sound bath event happening on Thursday. Very excited about this. If you're not familiar with a sound bath, sound practitioner, spiritual worker, or energy worker works with the sounds of singing bowls and gongs and chimes and sometimes their voice and just drums and whatever else that they have available to them, and it just they play them in harmony and melody that brings you to a state of awareness. It's a lovely experience. I do recommend that you at least try it once. We do have them happening regularly every 2 or 3 months or so in the store. So watch all that information on the website. You can click on events and you can register right there and sign up and reserve your spot. We also have numerology readings coming up on Thursday, January 24th, 2026. It's going to happen from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. Eastern Time that day. What will be offered is single readings as well as couples readings. All the information is available on the website. And then we have the numerology workshop. If you're interested to actually learn to do this yourself, an introduction to a kind of numerology, you can join us on Thursday, January 29th, 2026. And that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time you can register on the website as well. And then on Thursday, we have the new moon card pull, should be mentioned. That's going to be coming on Sunday, February 1st, 2026. You can see that on the Ask a Grey Witch website, the soulintention1111.ca website, as well as the Stafford Tarot website, and others throughout social media. All of those card pulls are available at any of those locations, and it's basically a 2-card pull using 2 decks to talk about the energies of the moment that the full moon and new moon happen. So we're going to be doing the full moon on Sunday, February 1st, and we're going to be doing the new moon on Monday, February 16th. So watch for those 2 card pulls. They do come out on the website, and that information is available for anyone who's interested. Sorry, my light just about fell. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So check out the website, staffordtarot.com. You can get all the information, and it's shared onto those other platforms as well. Now, if you're interested to participate in the draw, I do offer a free draw. It does happen monthly. It's a 1 in 5 chance to win. Anyone who likes, comments, or shares any social media post that mentions the draw is automatically included. I literally take all the names, cut them out, put them in a hat, and draw names. I don't broadcast the draw simply because people sometimes come to me for readings confidentially, and so I would never out or broadcast people who would like a reading from me. So I certainly keep that confidential. So I only reach out to the winners. So if you sign up for the draw and you don't hear from me, better luck next time. And I don't mind if you get involved repetitively on each draw. Like I said, they happen monthly. The next draw is going to be happening on Monday, February 9th, 2026. Like I said, it's a 1 in 5 chance. So if you want to get involved, if you don't see a post, you can just reach out to me through my website, email, or give me a call. Just let me know that you're interested in that draw, and we'll make it happen. And then I'm excited about the next Tarot Talk Live event, which is going to be happening on Tuesday, February 17th. And that Tarot Talk topic is going to be about reversals, how to read cards when they're reversed. Not all tarot readers read reversal cards. Some do. There's different ways to interpret that, and we're going to talk about that next month on Tuesday, February 17th. Now, this Tarot Talk tonight is going to be about a resolution spread. So I'm going to be just going through a walkthrough on that spread in hopes that it helps you set your own resolutions for the year. Now, this kind of spread can help you set your own intentions, can set your own resolution, or it can be used as a suggestion on the best resolution to set for you. This spread can sometimes give suggestion even though you're asking about a certain resolution. So if you have an idea in mind and it's suggesting something else to work on, I would suggest to pay attention to that. It may be giving you some good advice there. So the way that this spread works, it's a 6-card draw. The very first card is the goal. What is the resolution or the goal that you're going to be working on? Then the next card, card number 2, is about the motivation. What is the reason behind it? Why this resolution? The third card is the obstacle. What are you up against? What's up against you in terms of resolving this resolution? The fourth card is the tool, which is about what is the strength or resource that you'll utilize to make this happen. The fifth card is strategy. How will you approach this resolution? And then the sixth card is the potential. What is the most likely outcome for that topic or resolution? And you can place them in any way. I like to do it more as a with a 6-card pull. I usually choose a pyramid type shape for the reading, but it doesn't have to be. You can do them in a straight line, or you can do them in 2 rows of 3. It's really up to you how you resonate with it, as long as you remember the positions that the cards go in and which meaning has for each position, what's been designated for that spread. So I'm just going to focus on my own resolution and charge the cards with that intention. Now, card 1, the goal. The goal is to make decisions about what I need for myself. So this is what my resolution is really about, given the King of Wands has come out. The motivation that I have for myself is to learn. I like to call this the student card. The 3 of Pentacles. 3 in numerology is about communicating with myself, and Pentacles is what I need for myself. So when I communicate those needs, it's often something to learn, something to gain, some value, and I see that as being the motivation. The motivation is for me to acquire knowledge, given these decisions on the actions that I need to take. The obstacle for me is no longer carrying the heavy thoughts of other people, no longer having people just kind of, it feels like luggage, like dragging along with me. So the obstacle could be that I need to sort out who's in my circle and how I approach that. Now, the tool that I use is this light inside me, this skill, this talent, something special about me. This is the Star card coming out, talking about the tool that's needed, the strength or resource in order to make these decisions. It's the Star card. So it's all about this gift or talent that's within me. I can shine my light. Now, the strategy for this is to find higher ground, walk away from those emotions, put your emotions in order, work through those emotions, sort it out, and then take that break, go find higher ground. The strategy that's going to work for me, how do I approach this? By making sure that I take that time to myself, that I walk away from things that I'm going through, just making sure that I come back to it, but taking that time, finding that higher ground for myself. And the potential, the most likely outcome for me in this spread is the Page of Swords reverse, that I'm not going to follow through with some idea, or that this idea isn't going to get me into a new direction. I think what this is really saying is that I'm going to stick to what I know. I'm not going to necessarily change my mindset. I'm not going to shift paths or get into other directions the way that the Page of Swords suggests, because it's reversed. And we'll talk a little bit about reversals next month on the Tarot Talk on Tuesday, February 17th. But in terms of a resolution in the spread that I have here, I have a pretty good indication of my resolution that can be set for myself here, with the goal being the King of Wands, this action that can be taken, or the decisions that need to be made about the actions and passions that I need for myself. The motivation, meaning that I learn and acquire. The obstacle being that I carry other people's swords, so not needing to stop carrying other people's baggage. I am a bit of an empath, so I do tend to carry other people's energies with me, and I'm working on that. It's a constant something to work on, constant development. And I get better and better with it the more that I give readings. I do readings professionally, and so I do have to separate my energy from my client's energy. But I think this is more talking about the people who may be more personal in my life, and so not carrying the baggage of other people would be the best way for me to make these decisions in terms of this resolution moving forward. Now, the tool is the Star card. As I mentioned, the Star is about this skill, this talent, something special about the person. The Inquirer is me, and so the action or tool that's going to allow me to utilize this resolution is myself. I need to go internal. I need to just sit in my strength, sit in my power, shine my light. The strategy is going to be taking that time to myself. This could suggest that this could be emotionally overwhelming, or I could have a lot of overwhelm if I don't take that time to myself. And then the potential, the most likely outcome is that I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to stick to this idea that I have. I really like that outcome, just given what I think this resolution is about, and I find that confirming for myself. So I do hope that this makes sense and is helpful. Again, the card placements are: card number 1 is the goal, card number 2 is the motivation, card number 3 is the obstacle, card number 4 is the tool, card number 5 is the strategy, and card number 6 is the potential. And it's in my hope that this spread can help you set your own resolutions for the year. Now, some tips that I have in terms of this resolution spread is to, when you ask your questions, don't ask with if. Ask with how. Not if I acquire this, how will I acquire this? Don't ask, will I acquire this? It's how will I acquire this? Be more confident in your question. Confident in the way that you already know that there is a solution, or that there is an answer. I find that leads to a more clearer reading. How you ask the question is really important. Also, journal the actions that are being suggested. So in this spread, I could literally journal about the goal being the making decisions in terms of actions moving forward, and that the potential is not changing my mindset. Looking at the tool of being this skill or talent within myself. That could be great reminders later down the road while I'm trying to resolve this resolution, or while I'm trying to reach the goal. I can remind myself of the strengths or the determination. And also, there's nothing wrong with taking a picture of your spread to keep it in mind, or journaling the position of the cards. I would just recommend that when you do that, you keep in mind the here and now of the reading session. So when you look at the picture in, say, 5 days after the reading session, know that the messages come from 5 days ago. It's really important to keep that mindset in mind, because the reading can change as you change your actions after the reading. We all have a free will and our ability to make decisions for ourselves. And so keep that in mind, that once the reading is finished, readings only give you the here and now of the question, the perception from here and now, to look what is the potential of the future from this point. And so when you get to the future, the decisions that you've made between now and then can change the outcome of the reading. So a really good example that I like to give is, if you don't like the message of the reading, or the reading says you're leading to an outcome that you would not prefer, you have the choice of making the decisions or actions, to take the actions to either try and avoid that outcome, to make a change about that outcome, or to change it altogether. It's really up to you. And so keep that in mind. That's one reason why I think people get discouraged with future forecasting, is because the future is liquid, nothing's set in stone, and it is an interpretation of what that perception is from that point. Now, let's say the card's outcome was a favorable future, and you really liked the message that it said you were going to lead towards. It is still up to you. You still have to follow through with the actions that lead you to that future. You could decide not to. I don't know why you would if it was favorable for you, but you know, that's your decision. That's free will. That's the power of free will. So keep that in mind, that you always want to keep in mind that when you look at any kind of recording of a reading, or any kind of picture of a reading, that you keep in mind that those messages come from the time of the reading itself. I think that's really important to pay attention to, especially if you're journaling. Where I find it helpful is looking back at the perspective of that moment, and then comparing that to where you are when you're reviewing. You can see the growth, the development, the steps that may have been taken, or the changes that you've empowered yourself with. Hi Meg, thanks for the message. Do I have this spread shown on my website? I believe if you go into the blog section and you look at the blog titled spreads, there are different spreads mentioned in there. There's one similar to this. This exact spread may not be in there, but if you would like it, I could add it. I don't mind that. I was going to be adding some different spread suggestions, expanding on that a little further on the website, and so watch for that. Stay tuned. Those changes will be coming as I get more organized into the new year. I hope that's helpful. And if anyone has any questions about this, doing tarot spreads for resolutions or for decision making even, just let me know. Write the messages in the chat, as well as if anyone's interested to receive a tarot reading tonight, you can always write interested in the chat and I can add you to the list, and we will get started on those readings. Now, I should mention, as I mentioned earlier, actually, each reading takes about 15 minutes to do. They are short readings, short, distant, remote readings. Now, the difference between a remote reading and a distant remote reading is that remote readings happen over an interactive video call. So, like over Zoom or over Messenger, over a way of interacting. So we're both interacting, we're both having a two-way conversation is a remote reading. A distant remote reading is a one-way interaction. So that means that I'm on one side of a screen and I only receive a message or topic and I give a reading based on that, and there's not as much chance for interaction, if that makes sense. So an example of a distant remote reading is my Tarot Talk live events, because people do message into the chat and I'm basing the entire reading on those messages. In a remote reading, it's a one-on-one interaction, so the client has all the opportunity they want to ask questions throughout the reading, get a one-on-one interaction. So that's the difference. And then, of course, in person I offer as well at the store, or I go to locations of my client's choice. So if there's any questions whatsoever, just let me know. I'm going to put this spread away, and then we'll move into the readings. Now, Meg, were you interested in a reading this evening? Let me know. And anyone else who might be on the call. It's hard to see the people who are in the live. So anyone who's there, just give a wave or say hello, or let me know if you're interested. Now, I think what I'll do to get started is just do a quick reading for myself, just to sample. And of course, a jumper card comes out as I'm focusing on it. So I can't ignore the jumper cards. It's the Wheel of Fortune. So, taking time, not going so fast, maybe calming myself down. The reward is in the future, and I have to take the patience and time in order to get there. That's what that's saying to me. And so, good advice, definitely good advice, especially for the time of year that it is. Oh, thank you so much, Meg. Absolutely, I'll give you a reading. I'll put you first on the list. And anyone else who might be interested, just let me know. Now, I'm going to start just to give the sample reading. And I'm going to start with that one card impression pull from this deck. This is my original Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And the card that I get for myself in the one impression pull is the 10 of Wands reversed. No longer carrying too much on my shoulders. Wands represent the actions that need to be taken. Yes, I went through an incredibly busy time during the holidays and leading up to the holidays, extremely busy. I had so much to accomplish and do. The card looked like this. And then I accomplished all of those tasks and it flipped around, and now I can put that behind me, that I no longer am carrying all of this heavy weight on my shoulders. Absolutely, I can resonate with that. I have definitely made changes to bring more calm, give myself a little more time, as well as some restructuring has taken place, and that's all done now. So there's been quite a lot of tasks to complete. Now, the three cards that have come up are interesting. It's a Higher Arcana, 2 suits. The two suits are bookending the reading, and so I feel like I need to work towards that higher arcana. But yeah, interestingly enough, I'm going to start here. This is the Eight of Swords. It did not come out reversed. It often represents these heavy intellectual processes, these states of mind or thoughts that are literally binding me and holding me back and blindfolding me. These are heavy on my mind and things that maybe I don't want to sort through or that I'm working through. And so I can relate with that. It's been an incredibly busy and honestly stressful time for me, and I'm getting through it, and I really see myself as starting to cut off those binds and remove those blindfolds. Now the next card is the Five of Cups. This often represents a loss, and so processing a loss, knowing what I have and knowing what I don't have any longer. Guaranteed, I definitely went through a loss over the holidays, and so that took some processing and some grounding and structuring for myself, and that brings me to my higher arcana card, the World card reversed. Now this often represents not changing my mindset. I went through a huge transition over the holidays with a lot of obstacles, a lot of loss involved, and I did not change my stance. I held my ground, I stayed focused, I kept my perception. This is about perspective of the world. When the card's like this, it's about changing your perspective. How do you see yourself fitting into the world? And when it's reversed, it means not changing your perspective, the way that it's came out for me here in the reading. So I can honestly say that, I've held my perspective through the loss and the challenges, definitely. And I think that also shows integrity. So I do hope that makes sense, gives a little bit of an example on how I do my readings. Hi Alex, thanks for the message. Absolutely, I can put you down for a reading. First there'll be Meg, and then there'll be you next, and anyone else who would like a reading, just let me know by writing interested in the chat. I'm going to get started. Meg, just let me know that you're still on the call or that this is a good time, and if you have a topic or question of your choice. Otherwise, it can be left general. General readings usually come up with the messages that you need to hear for yourself, but it's up to you if you want to refine what you're looking for from the reading itself. Oh, you're very welcome, Alex. So I'm just starting with Meg. Now I'm getting a slow connection warning, so I apologize if I don't see the messages right away, or if there's any kind of jitteriness, let me know if I can be heard well or if I need to repeat myself at any time, okay? Meg, the card that I get for you is the Ten of Swords reversed. It did look like this, where, as grim as this picture looks, swords represent heavy thoughts and intellectual concepts, and these heavy thoughts are just pinning this person down. These are the kind of heavy thoughts that pin us down to the point that it looks like this. When you start removing these swords, you work through these heavy thoughts and they're no longer pinning you down, that's when the card shows reversed. And that's the way it came out for you, Meg. That you're working through these heavy thoughts that have been holding you back. You're removing these swords from your back that are pinning you down. Eventually, when you remove enough of them, you're able to get up, move around, be more flexible, be more free. I have a feeling, and I get the sense from the card, that you're at that point, that you're starting to be more flexible. You're pulling these out of your back, and you're able to get up. I hope that makes sense. Now, do you have a topic? Oh, I see your message there. Yes, in general is perfect. Absolutely. I will keep it general. That popped up just in time. I'll focus on a general messages, just reading that you need to hear for yourself. So all practical messages have come out. 2 court cards and a more practical message. I'm going to work my way to those court cards. I feel like they're speaking together. Now, the first thing that I notice in this is that they're all cups. So this is all about emotions. I'm going to start with that practical card. This is the 10 of Cups. I like to call it the bliss card because it's, I mean, you can see the rainbow shooting out of the main cup. It's really about organizing your emotions, understanding your emotions extremely well, that, you know, you can manifest the happiness, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I feel like you understand your emotions really well, Meg, and that's why this card is appearing. The way in which the cups are organized is what's really standing out for me, and that says for someone who's sort of done the deep work, you've done the organizing your emotions and getting yourself in check. The next card is the Knight of Cups. This is about taking action that either inflicts emotion or is emotional action to take. That is paired with the Queen of Cups reversed. Now, the Queen of Cups reversed is often about being in indecision or not being able to decide or make a decision involving emotion. Now, this is either decisions that inflict emotion or are emotional to make. And with the Queen being reversed and the Knight not being reversed, it's like taking action but not making a decision. So there's some conflict here. You want to make sure that you're not being impulsive or that you're thinking things through before you decide. Allow your heart to speak to you. Listen. Take the time to listen to your heart. If you're going to take action without deciding what you should do, that could be not in your best interest. Just make sure that you are working through this process now, and I think you are, because you have the 10 of Cups on the table as well. I think what this really speaks to in the combination of cards, when I look at the reading as a whole, is strength to be determined to move forward. Because even though you may be held back from sitting in the Queen of Cups position, all it takes is that missing information or resolving that challenge or whatever's stopping you from sitting in that throne, and this card will flip around and you'll be in that throne making those decisions and determining how it affects people. Now, the difference between queens and kings tend to be more forceful, direct, and there are consequences involved in these kinds of decisions, whereas queens tend to be more nurturing, caring, and it affects the people around you. So keep that in mind as well in terms of the type of decision that this is once you resolve the challenge that's holding you back from making that choice. I have a feeling that there's an action that may need to be taken in order to make that choice, and that's why the Knight of Cups is guiding the Queen. Now, I am wondering how I can extend on this reading further. Given that it shows a lot of emotion and in-depth working through that emotion and really having progress with that, working on it. I'm wondering if it would be helpful to pull some cards from my Witch's Wisdom deck. This deck is great for bringing deep messages to the surface that need to come out, and if I apply that to this reading, it may be helpful, just given the amount of cups and the emotion that's on the table. I hope that makes sense. And let me know if you have any questions, Meg, about what's been said so far. So 2 higher arcana and a practical card. I'm going to start there and work my way towards these higher arcana. I do feel like they're kind of speaking together, but in different messages, and I'll talk about that. This is the 7 of Fire. It came out like this, not reversed. 7 in numerology is about spiritual development, and fire are the actions and passions, similar to wands in tarot. When you have actions to be taken that are spiritual, it's often about a spiritual journey or the life lessons and the passions that we give things. And that's what this card represents. It's the passions and the, feeling proud of yourself. And what's really standing out for me are the roses surrounding the lion. And for me, that's where I think this is more about the passion that can go into it. There's this strength, this determination. And that's a message that you need to hear. I really think that that is something that you can connect with internally. Now, the moon card is where I'm going with that, because the card beside this is the moon card. The moon card is all about intuition, instincts, trusting yourself, listening to those intuitive messages, or the instinctual feeling or nudge. And what's really standing out for me is the moon, and not the moon in the sky, but the moon in the reflection of the water. And I really think that you could reflect more on your intuition, Meg. Trust your intuition, allow it to guide you. I think your heart is a really good guide for you. And if you combine your heart with your intuition, that could be a very solid resource. Now, the next card is the Guardian. The Guardian card is all about, standing in your power, understanding your connection with nature, how you direct yourself forward. And what's really standing out for me is the vulnerability. Nudity in tarot represents vulnerability in the cards, and so I feel like you need to make yourself vulnerable to stand in your power, almost like revealing yourself, it feels like. So maybe standing for your own, or maybe even standing up for something. Does that make sense? Let me know if this makes sense, Meg, or if there's anything that I can touch on further. When I look at this reading as a whole, given that you have cups, and you have swords, and you have equivalent to wands, no pentacles. And I think it's just as important to look at what doesn't show up as what does, because what does show up are the messages you needed to hear for yourself. So with no pentacles, it means that you're not needing messages about what you need for yourself. That tells me that you understand what you need for yourself in this, Meg. That's why the pentacles aren't being shown. They're not guiding you on what you need, because you understand that. The messages you needed today are about the emotions, the thought process, and the actions to take moving forward. I do hope this is helpful. I think when I bring this reading right back to where you are now, this cards show the process of where you're at now, removing these swords and lifting the heaviness off of you. I'm just reading the message that just popped up. Oh, thank you, Meg, for that feedback. If I can read it, just that you like the reading, strength, intuition, vulnerability, and help guide my emotions and actions. You're just taking this in. I do hope that this is helpful. I really think that there's a lot of potential here, and it really is up to you how you guide yourself through that. Hi, Jody. Thanks for your message. Absolutely, I can add you to the list. I'm just doing Meg's reading, and then I'll do Alex, and then I'll move to you. So you're third in the list. Each reading takes about 15 minutes. We're just finishing up Meg, so you probably only have maybe a 20-minute wait. Yeah, I do hope this is helpful, Meg. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. I see that message there. Just saying thank you. You're very welcome. So I'll put the cards away. I do hope that this is helpful. Now, all of my broadcasts, I should just mention, all of my broadcasts are recorded and downloaded and saved onto my website, staffordtarot.com. They do stay on my social media for 30 days, but then they get removed because of the length and size of the videos. But I do download them and save them onto my website. So if you want to ever look back at some of the previous Tarot Talk topics, or some of the previous readings, you can always look through my website and look through those topics. As well, if you receive a reading tonight and you'd like a refresher or to look at what the reading said again, you can always go back and visit my website and watch it from there. So thank you so much, Meg, for letting me do your reading for you. Alex, you're next. If you just let me know that you're still on the call, and if you have a topic or question that you'd like to ask. or it can be left general, similar to Meg's reading. Messages that are left general usually bring out what you need to hear for yourself in the moment. But it's always up to you if you want to refine what you're looking for. Absolutely. Thank you, Alex. Focus on love life. Now I'm going to start with that one card impression pull that just tells me where you're sitting energetically in the moment before I focus on that topic. Alex, what I get for you is the Ace of Swords reversed. Now, this is often about an opportunity that may be around you, but you may not be utilizing or seeing it for what it is. When the card comes out like this, it's about a new idea that's coming to you. Sort of like the sword being the heavy thoughts and it's coming out of the clouds, like being presented to you. It's like coming up with a new idea or changing your mindset, perhaps. When it's reversed, it's about not coming up with that idea, keeping your mindset the way it is, maybe not changing your mindset. This could also represent stubbornness in a way. So keep that in mind. It does come across, though, as an opportunity. I feel like there's an idea or something available to you that's within your reach, and it's just a matter of you reaching for it. Let me know if that makes sense, Alex. Now I'm focusing on love life for the next part of your reading. I'm going to pull 3 cards and we'll just look at how those cards speak to each other to get that message. Now, all practical messages have come out, a court card and 2 practical messages, 2 suits. I'm not being drawn in any direction with these cards, which often represents single messages for each. So I'm just going to go in the order that they came out in hopes that that is that order makes sense. Now, this is the 6 of Pentacles. Pentacles represent what you need for yourself. 6 is how we interact with other people. Quite often when we interact with other people based on our needs, it's about a fair give and take. It's about creating balance with what you give and what you get. And this card can often represent someone, when it's up like this, it can represent someone who's creating that balance. What's really standing out for me in the card itself is the scales and how the scales are even and they look very even. And I think that's represented from me for you, Alex, that you have been creating this balance. You're no longer allowing yourself to be taken advantage of in some way. You are sort of in control of the give and take. You're not going to just give and not receive. There's this balance that's being created. And this is in regards to love life. So I think that could represent maybe lessons that have been learned, perhaps, or stepping into a power, or gaining a different perspective, maybe. But it feels like growth and development. It feels potential. Now, the next card beside that is the Knight of Swords reversed. When the Knight of Swords comes out like this, it often represents a battle, a struggle, can be an argument, often comes out as a fight in terms of like when it comes out for couple readings. Now, this is a reading on love life. It is reversed, meaning you're not taking on those battles. You're choosing your battles wisely. You're avoiding this argument, this hard conversation to have, perhaps, or this idea to be forced against. And when it's reversed, it means like you've already done it, put it behind you, or you're not being as attentive to it. So keep that in mind. I think that's a positive message. It comes across positive, almost like avoiding a fight. Now, the next card is interesting. It is the 9 of Cups reversed, meaning that you're in the process of working through your emotions. You're organizing your emotions. You're putting them into the right order, but this process is not finished. And when you get through that process of working through the emotions, what's in the right order, that's when this card flips around and you have all your cups in a row, similar to the gentleman on the card. and he's very secure, he's expressed himself in the way he needs to, and he's confident, and he knows himself, he knows his emotions really well. And that's where you're headed as long as you do the work. Continue the work, because this shows that you're still in that process. Okay, Alex? So because this was based on love reading, or love life, sorry, I feel like for you, Alex, what this is really suggesting is maybe an empowerment or transition, perhaps, but some sort of no longer being taken advantage of, avoiding those fights and hassles, and working through the emotions that are involved. If you've been through something that is reflected on, or that you keep carrying with you, keep that in mind as well, that it is not selfish to put yourself first, and decide for yourself if it's worth carrying the energies of past experiences or what you've been through, because this shows that you're a fair person. Given this card's come out, that's fair, kind, generous person, probably patient and not forceful, and hey, you're doing the work. So maybe praise yourself or celebrate some of what you've done for yourself, because there seems to be developmental growth here. Now, I am wondering how I can extend on this reading further, given how personal this went in depth. I feel like the messages were more for you than about your love life. And even though that's what you asked for, and I think it's giving you the messages you need to hear in regards to that, working on yourself and finding where you sit in that. So I'm going to move to my heart chakra deck. This deck gives great insight in terms of what someone needs for themselves, like from a heart chakra standpoint. And so if I apply that to this reading, it may give some good advice moving forward. Especially when, in being in the process of working through those emotions, this is the heart chakra deck. So what better place to get that advice, right? So 3 cards have come out, a higher arcana, 2 suits. Interestingly enough, we have, and I feel like they're speaking together, and so I'm going to speak together with these cards. So the 4 of earth and the 3 of fire. Now, earth, the color around the border is how I can tell the suit. The green is the earthy color. It's similar to a pentacle in tarot, and the fire color is similar to a wand in tarot. It's all about the actions and passions that you take, and pentacles or earth is about your needs for yourself. Interesting. What I find interesting about this is the card that came up is the Opportunity Beckons card, which we kind of were hinted about this opportunity being around you. And because these 2 cards are speaking together, the reach out card, communicating, looking for support from other people, is what this card's about. With these 2 cards speaking together, that opportunity may be with someone else, or someone that can reach out, or someone that's providing an opportunity. Now, this is on love life. So is there an opportunity in terms of love life available to you that you may not be seeing because this card is reversed? And when you see this new idea, it flips around this way, but in the meantime it looks like this. Hence the opportunity that I was picking up. And then we have the Opportunity Beckons with that extra support. So keep that in mind, Alex, that there could be support available to you that may bring an opportunity or allow you to realize an opportunity around. Now, the higher chakra card is the base chakra reversed. What I find really interesting about this card coming out is I asked the heart chakra deck for advice moving forward, and it pointed us to a different energy center. So the base chakra is often about how we find grounding, security, our focus, how we express ourselves. It can be connections with our ancestry, our backgrounds, our upbringing, what grounds us, what is our root. And that's why it's the base chakra. It's like the root chakra. When you get down into your roots, Alex, That's what this is referring to. Now, when we create a balance in our base chakra, it's often about finding grounding and structure for ourselves. And so when it's reversed, it means that that balance is being worked on. So you're either too far grounded or not grounded enough. The difference in that, how you tell where you're at in this, is if your base chakra is open too wide and you're way too grounded, you're way too secure, you're going to hold yourself back from opportunities you will not take advantage of because you're not grounded to do it. If you are not grounded enough, if you close your heart chakra and you don't allow any grounding at all, you are going to jump out into situations that are not in your best interest, right? You're not going to be grounded or secured in order to make decisions. Finding that perfect middle spot is what it takes to flip this card around. And I feel like for you, you're in that process. You are working through this grounding and structure about yourself in order to find the grounding within you to flip this card around. That's what's coming to me for this. One in numerology is about spiritual development. And with the base card, spiritual development within your base chakra, finding that grounding and structure with who you are, getting comfortable with you yourself. I always say that in any love reading, that you have to love yourself before anyone can love you. And that may be what that's sort of saying. Give yourself that self-love, and others will pick that up too. Thank you for the feedback, Alex, that you're working on your emotions, as this card suggests. Absolutely. And that other comment, I'm in a relationship at the moment, but maybe a new one. So I could see perhaps that's the opportunity that's beckoned if you reach out to that other support. And that could be why you're feeling a little unbalanced with this in your base chakra. Yeah, I think it sounds to me like because this is an opportunity that beckons, and you're being fair about this, I think you just need to make the best choice that you can, what's in your best interest. There's really nothing selfish about putting yourself first, because when you put yourself first and you find someone else who puts themselves first and your firsts align, that's a beautiful relationship. And everybody should be putting themselves first in order to find that alignment. It's when you don't put yourself first, you put someone else first constantly, that's misaligned, right? You're not going to make yourself happy constantly fulfilling someone else. It's a two-way street, right? And you have to make sure that you're within the range of someone else's first. I do hope this is helpful, Alex. Thank you so much for getting your reading from me today. If you have any other questions, otherwise I'll put the cards away. Oh, thank you for that comment. Agreed. No, you're very welcome. Thank you for the reading. You're very welcome, Alex. So I'll put the cards away, and then I'll move to Jody. Jody, if you're still on the call, let me know. And if you have a question or topic you'd like to ask, otherwise it can be left general. And anyone else who might be interested in a reading, just let me know. You can write just interested in the chat and I'll add you to the list. I'm just clearing and cleansing the decks before I begin on Jody's reading. Just waiting for Jody's message. I should mention that sometimes on the broadcast there's like a 10 to 20 to 30 second delay depending from when the messages are entered compared to when I see them pop up. So if you've already answered and I'm just waiting for the response, just have patience with me while I work with the technology that we're working with here. Oh, thank you, Jody. General, please. Absolutely. So I'm going to start your reading, Jody, with that one card impression pull that just lets me know where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move to my Morgan Greer deck where I'll focus on that general reading for you. I feel like the cards are like determined. Jody, for you I get the 3 of Cups. This is about having something to acknowledge or celebrate within yourself. It could be good news or something that you have to share with people. 3 in numerology is about communication, and cups are about emotion. So when we have emotional communication, it can often be something to celebrate, like cheers. And you can see that in the image, the 3 friends getting together, holding their glasses up or their cups. They are obviously in celebration. If this card came out reversed, it would be like opposite of good communication, like rumors, gossip, that kind of thing. So just know that this is more positive. I think you have something you should feel proud of or something that you should be celebrating. If you're not acknowledging it, look deep within on what you have to acknowledge and celebrate. I hope that that makes sense. Now I'm going to move to your general reading. I'm going to pull 3 cards, and we're just going to look at how those cards speak to each other to get that message. Now, interesting cards, they are all practical messages. So no court cards, no higher arcanas. And I'm just going to go in the order that they came out. This is the 8 of Wands reversed. Now, when the 8 of Wands come out, 8 in numerology is often about reaching success. And Wands are about the actions or passions that are involved, or the actions that need to be taken to reach that success. When it's reversed, it can often mean that there was a specific order to these actions that had to be created, and then suddenly they all got thrown up in the air and they just started landing down in any kind of order, and that can be overwhelming and exhausting to keep up with, because you just have to kind of do these actions as the wands land. And it can mean like a wrench being thrown into plans, or it can mean like chaotic to try and fulfill. But it's definitely an overwhelm of the amount of actions that you need to proceed with. Just know that it's really about just taking one action at a time, breaking it down into smaller steps perhaps, but finding ways of getting through that overwhelm. This is the 9 of Wands reversed. Again, with the 2 wands reversed, there's something about actions or passions that aren't being acknowledged, but this is about holding your own. You can see here in the image itself, when it's not reversed, this person has their wand and they're separated from these other wands, and they're kind of holding their own. They're kind of saying, hey, I'm doing this my way, even though it's not the way that you would do it. When it's reversed, it's like being held back from doing something your way, so almost like having an expectation on you in the ways in which the actions need to be performed. That doesn't mean that that's the way you need to do it. It's just giving me the energy of this. Now, the next one is the 2 of Cups. It is not reversed, often representing a partnership or decision to be made. And it's the people that are standing out for me in the card. So I do believe that this involves a partnership, creating some sort of partnership. This doesn't necessarily have to be like a spouse or a loved one. It can be like a business agreement. It can be a friend. It can be any kind of agreement or partnership that could be in your benefit. If this card came out reversed, it would be a partnership that did not work in your favor, or maybe somebody that took advantage, or perhaps it didn't go the way you thought it would. So just know that there is this positive partnership that's involved here. Given the amount of overwhelm and standing your own, I wonder if there's if this is like a support of some kind, like a support person that you could reach out to if you haven't already. Let me know if this makes sense, Jody. I'm wondering how I can extend on this reading further. I am being drawn to my heart chakra deck again. I'm wondering if that would be helpful to give some suggestion moving forward, or insight moving forward, given this overwhelm, the message of the amount of tasks that have to be completed that have just been kind of jumbled around. Let me know how you resonate with those messages, Jody. I'm going to continue with the heart chakra deck. I'm just connecting with the energies of the reading right from the beginning and charging this deck with that intention. Now I am getting some more slow connection messages, so I do hope that the message it's coming out clear. Oh, thank you for that confirmation, Jody. Yes, overwhelm. So the amount, the tasks that need to be completed. So let's focus on that for the advice moving forward. Okay, a higher arcana, two practical cards. I feel like the practical cards are speaking together, and so I'm going to go with that, and then I'll speak to that higher arcana. Now, the two cards that are speaking together are these two. This is the Seven of Fire and the Two of Water. And you can see one is awaiting result and the other one is refusing to see. Now, the refusing to see reversed often represents not refusing to see. You know, you're seeing the big picture. You're opening up this vision. You're maybe perhaps it's about using your intuition. I feel like that's strong in this. But it's really about no longer refusing to see. If you were closed to something, you're opening up. If you were not receiving the messages, you certainly are now. There's something about this that tells me you're opening your intuitive sense. What's really standing out for me is not only the light that's shining above his head, but the third eye in his helmet. And so I really think for you, Jody, you're opening your third eye. You're in the process of seeing, whereas you've been refusing to see. So you can now put that refusing to see behind you and just see the big picture. Sometimes that can just be those intuitive nudges or inklings that we get that we just have to follow through with to determine how relevant they are. Now, the next one is awaiting results. It did not come out reverse. 7 in numerology is usually about spiritual development. When we take the right actions in spiritual development, it can be what you need for yourself moving forward. It's suggesting to await the results. I feel like you've put some action in, or that there's something that's already taken place and now you're seeing and waiting for the outcome. No longer refusing to see with this awaiting results is a powerful combination. I really think that this says that you're in a good position. It's just a matter of, like, you know, sitting back and seeing how it unfolds. Now, the higher arcana, the more important message out of this is to heal and release. This is the 13th card in this tarot structure for the higher arcana. 13 in numerology breaks down to a 4, which is all about finding grounding and structure for yourself. And this is suggesting to heal and release. You need to release the extra baggage. This card often comes out for someone who's very empathic, Jody. And so if you feel like you're carrying everyone else's baggage, like their emotions and their distraught and their stress and their challenges, and you carry that as if it's yours because you're the type of person who puts everybody else ahead of yourself, perhaps, and this is saying release. You have to let go of all that extra baggage. You can't carry everything. You have to give yourself that release, and that's going to bring healing. What's really standing out for me are the sparkles in the light that's coming off of the main character. It's really about becoming in tune with the power in yourself, this light that you can shine. That could be what needs to be released. Again, there's this connection with intuition and connecting with your intuition. Thank you for that message, Jody. Yes, I'm using my intuition. So take that as confirmation. I think you're on the right track there. If you trust your intuition, listen to your instincts, follow that intuitive sense, I think it can guide you well. That's going to help you get through this overwhelm. That might tell you the tasks that need to be completed next, or if you have that feeling in your mind or in your heart, this is what I need to do. It probably is what you need to do. When I bring this reading right back to where you are now, this being able to communicate and cherish or celebrate something for yourself, I feel like it's regarding this development or enhancement that you've done for yourself. I'm just reading the message that just popped up. Yes, I am ready to get rid of baggage and start to focus on myself and not in a selfish manner. Absolutely. There's nothing selfish about putting yourself first, as I mentioned earlier, Jody, and focusing on yourself is actually the best way that you can support other people, because you're acknowledging your own needs and putting yourself in a much better grounded state to be secure for those other people, to be a resource. So keep that in mind. You want to get yourself into the best position you can if you have other people who rely on you. And baggage is always never helpful. It just drags us down. It's extra weight. And so, doing some of the shadow work, cord cutting ritual perhaps, or something that might help letting it go. What I mean by shadow work is I often suggest shadow work in written exercises. So writing down what you want to let go and then crumpling it up and maybe burning it off and letting it, watch it burn and watch it go away from you, or watch it disintegrate, and know that it's taking it away. Oh, I just saw this other message here. I'm just starting to learn more about my intuition and listen to it. Well, good for you. That's not an easy thing to do. That would suggest, maybe that was what you were refusing to see. Maybe your intuition was nudging at you and you weren't really hearing it for what it was or seeing it for what it was. And now maybe you're starting to realize and open up to these messages that have always been there. I do hope that this is helpful, Jody. Let me know if you have any last additional questions. Otherwise, I'll cleanse and put away the cards. I just want to focus, I think the most important message out of this is where you're at now. You have this positive communication, something that you can celebrate or enjoy or share with others. If that's about your intuition, maybe you have messages for people. But I think that's a good place to be. Celebrate yourself. Raise yourself that glass of wine and say congratulations or good for you or cheers. Well, thank you so much for getting your reading from me. If there's anyone else on the call that might be interested in a reading, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll end here. Thank you so much to everybody who received readings from me tonight. I stopped putting the announcements on the website and on the Facebook in terms of when I'm available to give readings on these live broadcasts, because when I do that, when I schedule it as an event, I get scammers coming into the call and they try to message the people that are watching, and I really am trying to avoid that. And so I've been able to avoid them by not scheduling the online lives. They do happen sort of random. If you're wanting to know more information about when they happen, you can find out at the Tarot Talks, where I give the date. For example, the next Tarot Talk is going to happen Tuesday, February 17th. But you can also get that information from my website on the soulintention1111.ca as well as the staffordtarot.com. So I do hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. You can reach out to me on either of those platforms, including askagraywitch.com. And you can send me messages directly from there, or you can reach out to me on my social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And or you can reach out to me on my phone number, which is available on the website as well. Thank you for that feedback, Jody. I really appreciate that. You're very welcome, and thank you for letting me know that this was spot on. I really appreciate that feedback. You all take good care. It was so good to see so many on the call, and hopefully I'll get more to join me next month on the 17th when we talk about reversal cards, what it means when those cards come out reversed. In the meantime, you all take good care and bright blessings. Bye.